Welcome back to Podcast the Hero.
This episode is brought to you by Cornbot. Hang on. I'm being handed something. Okay, this is just in. Official announcement from our Cornbot overlords have requested that I read this prepared statement. We came to your planet eons ago and founded a suitable nursery for our offspring. Each year, our babies grow up tall, and the eggs become juicy and firm. Stop eating our eggs and then shitting them into the sewers. Have you ever spent any time in a sewer? Yeah, it sucks, so knock it off. And now back to our regularly scheduled podcast.
Oh, so that was saying that the corn is alien babies.
Yeah.
Corn, K-O, backwards R-N, or C-O, normal
C-O.
R-N?
But
Because I literally saw corn yesterday. And so I was just making sure. They were literally in Atlanta yesterday.
that's crazy.
Yeah, 100% real story, as of the recording of this. Yeah. So
okay.
I was just making sure that they weren't the ones who sent you that.
No.
Because I thought that
no.
was kind of rude. They didn't just tell me to tell you that.
Right. Jonathan Davis doesn't want anything to do with this podcast.
Okay. Is that what he told you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Monkey
Yeah.
wants in, though.
Well, Ray's a homie, and he sure didn't say anything one way or another about the sewer stuff. So that's why I was
Who's
like,
Ray?
wait, what's happening? The drummer.
Is that he just goes by Ray? Like they're like Monkey and Fieldy's Dream.
Yeah.
And then there's just Ray on the drums.
Yeah, just Ray guy. Yeah. Ray.
It's freaking
Jonathan Davis. Nobody said anything when his name was just Jonathan.
That's true.
That's
Yeah. He's got the look, though.
He does have the look. We'll get into that later. Yeah, I literally saw them yesterday. They were in Atlanta with Gojira and Spirit Box, and it was a
That
good
sounds
time.
like a good show.
No, yeah,
Gojira
it
and
was.
Spirit Box.
Yeah, Gojira. You remember when they played in front of the whole wide world?
Yeah.
Everyone sent me.
You didn't see it?
I don't watch the Olympics. I didn't even watch it. I didn't watch it back afterwards.
I only watched the performance because a friend of mine, I was at Nico's birthday party, actually, and everybody was talking about it. They were like, yo, did you see Gojira play the Olympics? And I was like, hold on. What words did you just say? And they were legit like that. And because the Chariot toured with Gojira a while ago, and so... So I had no idea. And then, I immediately got like 3 texts of going, yo, you got to watch this. And then I did, and I was like, good on them. That was so good, man. I love it so much.
Was their tour manager a guy named Taylor?
I know is the answer. I don't remember the name of it, but it was not a guy. So I'm going to assume it was not.
You kind of make it sound like it was like an alien or something.
It was a
Corn. It was a corn bot. Yeah. No, this was ages ago. This is before corn bots came to Earth.
Oh.
I assume.
Yeah.
I guess it would be worth saying our guest today is Josh Scogin from the fucking 68.
What's up? Just needs no introduction. Everybody's like, who is this guy? I probably know him. I don't know. I might know him.
This guy comes in riffing, dude.
The episode is also brought to you by our patrons, Maddie G, Allie Bo Bally, Banana Fana Fofally, Fifi Mo Mally, Allie.
Please,
okay.
Allie.
Benjamin Taylor, Dave the Film Guy, Jake, Bob, Josh, and Steven Exposure, Progtoff, in before Rhodey sells out to Big Oil. Julia, Red Leather, Yellow Leather, Unique New York. The Fat Brown Kid, Foolish Bale, I went barefoot at Fritzy's Fortress of Frigitude, and all I got was this dumb eat shit and go fuck yourself t-shirt.
Are these real names?
Blackwood, yes,
Yeah.
indeed, a Newfoundlander by Spit Goth, yo, absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. Roadies, Road Raging Rodent. Sebastodon, the homeless rat who died of a drug overdose. His blood is on Rhodey's hands. I Swallow Cum. Source the Odd is a result of a spray fart. Come to New Brunswick. Rob, Peggy Thrill, Green Street. The manager at Anthony Kiedis' local Denny's. 23 hamsters. Fire fee. A common thread. The pink dink who took a drink from the sink. Zane, Rhodey loves my dink. This podcast smells like a 2-time butthole rat.
Yep.
Deconomist. Scouty got a hold of Mommy's credit card and now has a Patreon sub to the pod, but was actually looking for Patreon.
Because it's his dog.
Zach, the final Dan Cage Pandas, Cornman, Jeffrey, Mason Bailey, Terrorbilly Jean, Yuri, Fruit, and Ashwin. Oh, hang on. There's a page 2 now.
Oh.
And High Tops. They put High Tops on his own page.
What do you mean they?
It's wonderful. Patreon. The people that run Patreon. Somebody logged in specifically and moved one user over to a second page to fuck.
They may know him. They're like, yo, he gets his own page.
Okay, so first question. Dropkick Murphys are an accordion-based punk band. Jethro Tull is a flute-based classic rock band. So that must mean that Ludacris was a lute-based metalcore band. Drums, 3 lutes, and 3 Metal Zone pedals. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You were the singer of now 3 bands, well-known bands. One is called the Norma Jean, one is called Chariots, and the other one is called the 1968. How do you decide which band gets a the and which band doesn't get a the?
Well, I just went with the rule of the middle band gets a the.
Okay.
And then that other rule, your third band gets an apostrophe.
Got it.
That's true. I didn't even put him up to that thing about chariots. I didn't even mention it to him. I'm quite surprised.
Nice. That was free floating, huh? You probably did that when we all hung out. You probably did that joke.
Yeah, that's maybe true.
You know what's fun about? Here's a little inside tip behind the scenes. So when promoters sign things that say, "Hey, we're going to get your band in," one of the things the contract or whatever is that if you, or at least ours, I don't know if it's everybody's, but ours said if you misspell our name on the marquee, you owe us $100 or something. It was silly, but it's just a little something there that for so that people pay attention,
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, we never flexed it, but we did flex it once, but because the guy was being not a fun guy. But basically, on the marquee, if it said Chariot, that wasn't the band's name. It was the Chariot. So by law, Judge Judy would side on our side and say that we... Oh, y'all might not know Judge Judy, but...
yeah, we do.
Okay. But anyway...
Not in Canada, we don't have her. We have Judge Trudy.
Stop it.
Yeah, so we never flexed the rule, but one time we did because this person was just not really being fun, and we noticed the marquee just said Chariot, and so we demanded our $100.
I love that you guys had that because you guys were the masters of fucking with things grammatically.
Yeah. Not even. Oh, that's the thing, though. If our name is the Chariot, we said everything grammatically correct. Like my other car is the Chariot.
Yeah, you said the part from the bumper sticker correct and the part from your band correct, and then you put them together.
Yeah.
And they became incorrect.
What's funny is we could flex that rule a lot more often with the apostrophe on 68 because a lot of those little marquee things, I don't even know if they some of them don't even have apostrophes. And so you see them do stuff that's pretty clever. They'll put they'll just kind of make it work. And that's always nice when you see someone try, It's always fun. So
it's funny to think of a band name it's almost like you guys planned it so that you could have this in your contract. But if you fuck it up,
nobody can ever do it.
Yeah, you want $100.
Yeah,
guess what?
That's if you just named your band
it has a smiley face emote in the band name. Put that on your fucking marquee. Dude.
Yeah, it's a silent smiley face emote. Only the in crowd knows.
Silent.
Yeah.
For a long time, I thought the band's Nora. Do you know the band Nora?
Yeah.
I always thought, for a long time, I thought the band Nora and the band Norma Jean were the same band just because the names were slightly similar.
Oh, and people were like shortening it?
Yeah, or something. I just thought
That
it was
is
like
the
the same
weirdest
thing. I didn't
shorten.
realize they were two different bands.
That is the weirdest shorten. To shorten it to just a different word. What's funny about this, the singer of Nora, that's our manager. So
Seriously?
that's why I gave that little snicker, because I was like, yeah, I know that band.
Yeah, because when you said it, I was like, oh, Josh doesn't like this band, Nora.
No. He's Carl. He's our manager. So, and he's been, and he did Ferret Records, and then that went on to do Good Fight Records. He did the last.
That Carl.
Yeah. He did the last two. I think last two albums. The Chariot did was on his label, and then when I started 68, I called him and was like, "Yo, I don't want to do the label, but I want you to manage us." And he was like, "Okay." So
That's
sick.
awesome. So
Yeah.
I knew the guitar player from Nora when I was a little kid, like in high school.
and you still
was
thought
in
we
a-
were the same band?
He was in a band called Backside Disaster. His name's Matt. Hey.
Backside Disaster.
They were in a
Portland.
band called Backside Disaster in high school, and there's a bunch of my friends were in that band.
So yeah, that dude's name's Portland, or at least that's what I call him. Yeah,
from Portland.
So-
That's where I'm from.
So he does all of our artwork.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you're like literally pulling out all the great stuff, which is
That's
setting
so
your
funny.
standards. You're setting your standards real high for the next few questions, because they've got to land just as hard. Yeah, so he does all the artwork for everything 68, and I think the last couple things, the Chariot, he pieced it together and did stuff too. So yeah, he's
Dude,
the
I'm
art
pretty
guy.
confident that he did the cover of Fortress.
Are you
Really?
serious?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Why would you not know that?
I met him in Atlanta. He had a fucking huge tablet with him, and he was like, "Hi, I'm Portland," and I was like, "Hi." And he was like, "I drew the cover of your record." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Have you ever been connected with Good Fight or?
Yeah, we were sort of fucking wined and dined by Ferret.
Okay.
And we really liked them, but it was like a weird kind of upstream deal that had to do with like Sony, I think. Like
Okay.
there was some Sony element to it, and we really didn't like the Sony element.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah,
they're
they got
awesome.
bought out. Ferret got bought out at some point. I don't remember if it was by. I thought it was by Universal, but I might be wrong.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was Sony?
Why?
Because that's the problem. That's why we didn't want to go, because we were scared that something weird would happen with Sony.
Oh yeah.
But
It might have been Sony. It might have
not
been
been Sony.
Sony. You know what's great? This is the first time today I've seen a mirror, and even though this ain't a mirror, I was like, I'm looking at myself going, huh, this is what everybody saw today. This is just what they hung out with for hours on end.
I'll just finish up the whole Nora Portland Matt Hay thing. If you are so interested, you can find Backside Disaster songs on YouTube.
Okay.
If you want to hear what they sounded like in high school.
Nice.
One of the other guys from that band has now gone on to do he's like a recording engineer, and he won a Grammy with Doja Cat a couple
Nice.
years ago.
Was
I
that
have
the
no
guy that
connection to that
stole the
person.
fucking Pliny riff?
Probably. Yeah.
Well, that was the end of your streak, because that has nothing to do with me.
Yep. So the
I don't
next
know that
question,
guy.
the next question is on the how did you guys come up with the whole teardown during your performance thing? Did you just start doing it one day and it was awesome, and so you just kept doing it?
Yeah, that is how. So we kind of wing our set. We kind of make it up as we go a lot of times, and we don't have a set list or anything like that. And so oftentimes I just have to keep kind of looking at my phone to see what time it is and what time to end. And I'm a lot better at it now, but in the beginning I was really bad about, because I talk a lot, and so I was really bad about going over, which is a no-no. You should not do that if you're any band.
Yeah.
And so anyway, this one show specifically early on in our career, I knew we had this like whole ending bit, and so I just was like, I just started doing it, taking away the pieces, and then that I realized that even though we went over like by a minute, I was like, well, our drums are gone, so it's kind of like we started already. So so what started off as a just kind of a impulsive bit turned into something that was very useful and very handy. And so yeah, it has kind of implemented its way into the show, and we have a couple of other ideas that will probably work out at some point in life that kind of hinges on that. But yeah, it started out of necessity. It just started out of like man, I keep talking too long, and we have like these free jam bits, and we get in the zone sometimes, and it goes way too long, and yeah, you think like, oh, we probably jammed on that for like 30 seconds, and you realize like it was 7 minutes or something, and you're just like, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that had to have been boring for everyone. But yeah, I'm a little better at it now, now it's just a very useful thing, because we have a tour manager now, Justin, which y'all have met, but for ages and ages it was just me and a drummer. So if I can get his drums off during the set, as soon as we actually finish, he can help me get all our guitar stuff off, and that helps us to not be annoying to the headlining band. So
I love that it's like practical.
Yeah. Everything in our world has to have at least two purposes, or else it's out. You know what I mean? Like Nico plays drums and sells merch. You know, if he just played drums, he's out.
No matter how good he is.
I noticed though when he's selling merch, he's also playing drums. He was back there with his drum pad, like working on stuff.
Well, you don't become the greatest drummer on accident. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I remember. So I saw you guys for the first time at the Detroit show on this tour, and I watched you guys doing that, and I went, "That's fucking amazing."
Thanks.
And then my brother was at the San Francisco show a few weeks later, and he's texting me back and forth and whatever, and then all of a sudden I get a text. I'm like, they're tearing down the set in the middle of the song. This is fucking wild. Oh my God. And he's fucking freaking out.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. My next question is, what was your favorite show on the tour so far for Volition X? Because I'm always curious, like what it's I don't know, maybe it's the same for every band on the set, like in a city, but maybe it's different for every band.
Favorite show, I don't know if I have a favorite show. I have one that's popping into my brain, which is Cleveland, because the previous time I was there, all hell broke loose, and the previous time Rhodey was there, apparently, was no good as well. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, so I'll tell my story, and then you can tell your story, Rhodey. But the short answer of the question is that is the one that pops on my brain, because we both had these sort of like redeeming like show, like, oh, this is going to be a greater show, and so it definitely stands out in my mind. But the tour we did prior, like earlier this year, I have no idea what was going on with me, but either it was something I ate, which isn't probably likely because I ate the same thing as everyone else in my band, but either way, like 10 minutes before we were supposed to go on, I was like dying in the backstage room, and we were out with Callous Cowboys, and I was legit. I was just sitting in my suit, drooling, and just like, I don't know how I'm gonna get up there and play, but I don't like canceling shows. I don't think I've ever had to cancel a show, because of me, and so yeah, I legit. There was this one specific moment where Amber was there with Cowboys, and I was like, man, I'm about to wake up in a hospital, and she's going to have called the 911, the ambulance. Anyway, I ended up like figuring out a way to get up, and I went to the bathroom, and I was just like splashing water on my face. I mean, I had like two dudes kind of setting, like nobody really knows how to set my stuff up, but they were kind of putting things in the places that it goes. And and so I was like, well, I can't cancel. Like I don't want to just cancel. And, I didn't want to cancel. So I was like, well, what I'll do is I'll walk out on stage and I will do my best to go through the first song, and I'll probably just like fall over and like die or pass out or something. And I was like, people will see like, oh yeah, he shouldn't play. Right. And so it's play, not, he's dead. Yeah. He's got a case of the death. So, he shouldn't be playing right now. And I felt like that was better than me just sending out, like that ominous tweet or Instagram that's like, due to circumstances beyond or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, they'll see me die, and that'll be great. And then, maybe Nico can get some money from that or something. But, so anyway, I go out there, and I mean, everybody sees it. Like so everyone at the show on tour with y'all was that came to that was telling me, they're like, dude, as soon as you walked out, we saw like this is no good. And so I'm performing. I was like, I'll do song 1, and then it was rough. But then I went and did song 2, and then like slowly like adrenaline comes. Yeah. And I was still like near death, and like I think there was like a 2 parts of like exhaustion and badness, but then also adrenaline. So it's kind of like keeping me afloat, but also I just felt myself like getting lightheaded often. I forgot a lot of lyrics, and it was pretty rough. There was a moment apparently where I was just like sitting like on my butt with a guitar in my hand, and like I kind of don't remember that part of it, but people were just like, yeah, you were just sitting there. And I was like, I think I was supposed to be playing something or whatever, but anyway, I made my way through the set, and I made it way through, but it was definitely one of those things as an artist where you kind of you feel like, okay, what was the right thing to do? Because you don't like, you want to give people a good show. They paid for a good show, and they deserve a good show, and so there is that thing that you toil with of like, okay, am I ripping these people off by performing, or so. I did my thing. I did what I thought was the best thing to do. I gave it my all, and people seemed like on tour with y'all. People were like said really nice things, and they were stoked that did it and didn't cancel. So,
at the Columbus show, I believe I heard someone say, "We saw you last time in Cleveland. Yeah, you didn't look okay."
yeah. That's I guess I don't think we played Columbus. So when we did it, so therefore they went to Cleveland.
I'm surprised that the people in Columbus could tell that, because everybody in Columbus doesn't look okay. Columbus is a shithole.
I'm not from Columbus, city. So they saw me and they were like, "Yo, he looks like one of us." So. No. I'm gonna push back on there. I love Columbus. Columbus is a city that, in all the bands I've been in, for some reason, that city specifically has been very kind to the bands I've been in. So I have no complaints. But
that's good for you. I'm happy that they are kind to you. They are.
Yeah, I don't know why Fritzy hates Columbus so much. It's not even just Columbus, is it? It's Ohio.
Well, it's mostly Ohio, yes.
Oh man, I like
Ohio Columbus so in particular.
Ohio's great.
It's a stupid college rivalry between my alma mater and the very large community college that is located in Columbus, Ohio.
I gotcha. Okay.
So, anyway,
so there's
it's like a weird university patriotism kind of thing.
Yes, 100%.
Because you care so much. Rody, tell your story, because you have a wild story.
You know what? We've told that story at length on this fucking stupid podcast.
Oh, really?
They know it.
Okay, well.
I do want to say about that Columbus show. I was talking to a guy who's like a Patreon subscriber. I would consider him a friend. His name's Dave the Film Guy. And fucking Ethan from Grace Heaven? Grace?
Greyhaven?
It's, Heaven and Haven, the same thing. He comes up and he's like, like he's drunk out of his shit.
Sure.
And he's like, oh, dude, they need you in the back. And I was like, For what? And he was like, they just need you in the back. And then I'm talking to this Dave guy, and Dave's like, oh, like he's like trying to rescue you. It's okay.
He's like saving you.
Yeah, he's like, he's just saving you. Like, it's okay. Like, we'll just get going. I was like, no, dude, I don't know why he's doing this. Like, that is what he's doing, but I don't need it. And he was just standing there, like, drunk out of his shit, like, kind of going, hello.
You're like, I know for a fact they never need me back there, so that will never work.
Like, I kind of fucked him over because, like, I knew what he was doing, but I was like, stop it, dude.
Dave made a great little Columbus video for us. He shot a bunch of footage in Columbus and then put together a great little video about the Columbus show and all the stuff going on in Columbus, which I thought was very, very kind of him. He's fantastic.
Yeah, Columbus was that venue specifically when the Chariot did our farewell tour. We had some nutty things happen at that specific show. I won't get into that specifically, but we had a meeting, which was one of two different meetings we had on that on the farewell tour.
Yeah,
that was literally, the meeting went like this: hey guys, this is the farewell tour. Nobody can die on this tour. Like, we're so close to being done as a band.
It's not that kind of farewell.
We can't whatever the thing that happened specifically at the Columbus show, and each show was getting more emotional and more. It's weird. It's a weird thing because you're putting on the show, but also it's very emotional, and the crowd is emotional. You know, they're never going to see you again, kind of thing. It was a very like surreal time. But some of the things that had happened, we were just like, listen, we can't have anyone die. Like, if someone dies, I'm going to be wrecked forever. Like, there's no way to come back from that. Like. And I don't even like when fights happen.
I could make money off this.
Yeah, I'd get way more famous. Believe you me. If someone died, they'd be like, wait, we know this band now. But I was like, my heart, I would never, ever, ever be able to recover from that. And so we had to specifically have these like meetings, two of them specifically. That was one of them, and then there was another one. And yeah, we were just like, okay, we're so close to the end. Let's make sure no one dies.
But here's a question for you. What if, just say, what if would your heart recover if it was like David or someone? Like, I don't know, David, maybe?
If David died?
Yeah, but it was just David.
That'd be way worse. That'd be way worse than like someone I have no idea who they are.
Oh, so you're talking about the crowd?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about someone in the band, and I thought, man, David...
You're like, David could go.
He'd probably be happy. He'd be happy about it.
Yeah, no, with the shows were getting more and more intense and more emotionally filled with emotions and passions and such. Yeah. And so, there was people were getting hurt, and I don't like that ever. And so,
I bet people were getting pretty friggin' drunk as well out of
maybe. It's trying to drown their sorrows. Yeah. I was eating chicken wings nonstop trying to drown my sorrows. So yeah.
I think that's the Red Foreman stages of grief. He only has 2 stages of grief. There's anger and drinking. Those are the 2 stages of grief for Red Foreman.
Okay.
You have something written on the back of your guitar.
That is true. Is that the end? Yes.
Well,
yes.
The question is, do you
yes or no, Josh?
Do you worry about that ruining the value of the guitar for future resale?
No. I've never thought about future reselling. Here, let me see if I can do this. Hold on a second.
There are plenty of people who do.
Out of all the
years that he got up to get it.
Out of all the years I've seen them play live, I don't think they've ever worried about the future resale value of their instruments. Most of the time, they just broke all their shit and left.
Yeah. I don't. I have a very, very, very strict moral compass when it comes to equipment, and it's that I own my equipment; it does not own me. So,
it is a tool.
Yeah, it's there for me to do the thing I need to do with. Andy, every time I die, had he would make fun of us quite often because we'd have fairly cheap guitars and stuff, and he used great stuff, and his thoughts were like, this is like, have you ever played a really expensive guitar? They just play so, and all this stuff, and yeah, I was like, man, if I was holding some, I don't even know how expensive guitars are, but if I was holding some $5,000 guitar, like, I would be treating it like a Fabergé egg or something. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't do that. Like, that has nothing to do with what I'm trying to do. So,
okay.
Always comes back to nice eggs with you, eh?
It's always eggs. What is
Classic Scogin.
Okay, so this we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording. You said you remember telephones. When I was doing some research, I realized that you and I are of similar age.
Okay.
I'm a little older than you. You're a little older than Cheese. Are you sad that you're a millennial and you just missed out on being part of the best generation, Generation X, like me?
No way. Hey, I'm very much part of the best generation. Are you kidding me?
Millennial? I don't know.
Yeah, millennial.
Okay, there's I think there's a threshold.
Yeah.
Of, I think the best generation is somewhere around your world, and then dips into the. I'd say dips in a little bit past me, like Cheese is in there, and then probably like maybe even a little younger than him. Because you remember a telephone, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Okay, so like as long as you like remember, as long as you had that experience, I think that has a lot to do with it, because you, I call it the Blockbuster rental method. Like basically, if you can remember that concept, if that concept means anything to you, I think you're okay.
Yeah.
And if you don't, go ahead.
Is the qualifier for like being the best is just that we've had experiences that were both very analog based and digital based?
That is so that's the definition of the sub-generation called the Zennials, with the X.
Yeah.
And it's everybody from 1978 to 1983.
Why end at 83?
I don't know, but that's what they said. And it's like, that's the generation that grew up analog, but digital enough not to be our
Lost
parents' generation where they can't work a computer.
Yeah, but like people born in 92...
Yeah.
I mean, they know what it's like to.
Yeah,
here's
like,
the thing.
I'm not in that cutoff, and I grew up with tapes and fucking VHS.
Yeah. Well, that's just because you grew up in Canada, which is a decade behind the rest of the world. So
we still got tapes.
I see. I feel like the difference there. Yeah, the thing is to be able to see the stuff that you have now, but to be able to appreciate it and to be able to be like, oh man, this is great. Like. Something as simple as GPS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I toured before a GPS existed, or at least before I knew what it was. Yeah. And so
you could afford one because they were really expensive.
Right.
The Garmin's when they came out.
Yeah. So I was one of the first people I ever knew that had a GPS. My father was legit, like, for Christmas, he was like, I got you this thing. And I opened it up, and it was like $1,200 or something stupid. It was so expensive, and I opened it up and I was like, I don't know what this is. And like legit, I was like, I don't know. And he expected me to be so happy. And anyway, once I realized what it was, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And what's funny is I sold so many of those because every band I toured with, like, keep it about, I'm broke always. So I was like, yo, this thing's amazing. You can find Taco Bells with this thing. That was like that was the thing that sold it so much. Because I was in the Chariot at the time, but obviously still homies with like Norma Jean and stuff. And I was like, yo, you've got to try this thing. And Daniel, the drummer at the time, he was like, he just knows his way everywhere. He just know, like, he'll be in a city for the first time, like, oh, we should go left, and like I'm like, how did you just do that? But he and so he was like real hesitant. He's like, I don't know. I mean, we got it figured out. And I was like, dude, I'm telling you, like, it's the best thing ever. It's the greatest thing. And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, because I think he just knew everywhere to go and how to get there. And I told him, I was like, dude, you can find Taco Bells. I was like, legit. I was like, you can be like, because you could be like 3 miles from a Taco Bell and you'd have no idea. But with this thing, you'll know. And yeah, soon after they ended up getting one. But yeah.
Like before that shit, you had to have a Daniel. You had to have a guy.
Yeah.
Friggin' Sacagawea. And Daniel, I'm sorry, but they're obsolete now.
Yeah,
you don't need a Daniel.
You have a guy that had a Thomas guide, right? Yeah. When I was 19 years old, so this would have been like 1998. I drove from Portland to Detroit, and I had to go to AAA and have them print me out like a triptych thing. It was like a printed out set of maps and directions for each stage of my trip, and they flip the pages and everything and tell me how to go, because there was no GPS, there was no internet, no smartphone.
So let's go off on this tangent. This is a fun little tangent sometimes to talk about. So let's pretend that, just objectively speaking, somehow you're the greatest songwriter musician ever, okay? And you were alive. No. Here's the part you have to pretend. Okay. You were alive and doing it back in like 98, okay? So 98, Cheese is the best, objectively speaking, the greatest songwriter, whatever.
Nobody can deny it.
But doesn't know how to work a map. Doesn't know how to, like, you know what I mean? There was all these things. Like, back in the day, for you to be a dude in a band, there was all these hurdles that had nothing to do with music. It had nothing to do with music. It didn't matter that you could riff like crazy. If you didn't know how to work a map, or someone in your band didn't know how to work a map, or you didn't know how to, there was all the gatekeepers. You had to have some sort of like label to pay for a recording guy, because it was so expensive, because they had to know how to work tape. They had to know how to do, like, the tape was expensive. Like, so there's all these like not really gatekeepers. There's all these hurdles. And now the barrier to entry is nothing. If you accidentally own a computer, you have a recording studio, and you got your phone, so you got maps. Like, no, so and a lot of people speak on this as a very negative thing, like, oh, that's why we have so much garbage music out now and whatever. And I'm like, maybe, but also that makes me excited, because it boils everything down to just, hey, are we writing good songs now? Right. You know what I mean? Like, it has not, like, the guy that that could crush a guitar but didn't know how to work a map, he didn't tour. He didn't go on tour because he didn't find, like, I would not be here today if it wasn't for Daniel Davison knowing how to, like, I knew how to work a map, but I still would, like, it's just, I'm not very great at it or whatever.
I can't fold a map.
Nobody can fold a map.
I always just stuffed it back into the glove box.
Imagine today, like, for people that are touring today, imagine not having the internet to find, like, if you're just starting out and you're trying to contact venues around you to, like, hey, we want to book a gig at your place.
Oh my gosh,
like,
you sound like, listen to what you're saying. You're talking about contacting venues to perform. You're not even talking about the fact that people just put their song on TikTok and let it do the work.
Right. Dude, but I think the crazy thing is, like, if you could get over those hurdles, like, you had the maps figured out, you had the fucking contacts, you had whatever, your songs didn't have to be that good to succeed, right?
Well,
it was just
because
like, these songs exist, and there's so few songs.
There's so many, there's only so many bands. Yeah. But here's what rules. Here's the thing that I did appreciate about it. It legitimately, I don't mean to sound so passionate, but it legitimately, if only the people who like it had the burning desire. Those are the only people. Like I was in high school and I joked earlier about if I didn't have Daniel, and it's probably true, but like all I wanted to do ever since 7th grade was be a dude in a band. And so every single thing, every hurdle that came, I was like, I got to figure that out. Yeah, like I first practiced, I first wrote music, I first did that. But then I realized, oh, you got to figure out a map, or you got to do whatever. And thankfully I had Daniel. So I was like, cool. And then it's like, you know, you can't just go. Nowadays you can just record on a computer and it could sound decent, you know, but back then like tape and everything was expensive. So you had to get on like only the people who it was like killing them to not, like there are people out there that still feel that way. Like there's no scenario where I have to figure out how to do this. Those people figured it out and made it to a spot where, or at least, you know, died trying kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like they really legitimately, and so therefore, obviously there's exceptions to every rule, but therefore the music that existed back then was predominantly maybe slightly of a higher standard because it was like, I have to figure this out because I've got this stuff that's coming out of me. It has to come out. Yeah. And nowadays it's like, you can just accidentally put on an album up. Like,
but
just
you
whatever.
can accidentally put it up. For it to succeed, it is vital that it fucking stands out of the like super saturated shit.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't think that doesn't matter to me either. Because there's so like, I'm not trying to. There's so. Someone could Google this right now, but there's something like 20,000 songs uploaded every day to Spotify or something like that. Like it's whatever it is, it's a lot. So that makes me go, okay, the average the mid stuff is just so much.
Yeah, it's eating that all the fucking data.
Yeah, but to me, it's like it's not crazy hard to sort of stick your head above this mid-level, not just like mid stuff. I'm not saying it's great, but I'm just saying to stick your head above the just norm, like just people that kind of, because it is so easy to make music now. Yeah. It's so easy to be. Me and my friend were talking about this the other day. Think about like back in like Frank Sinatra, think about those days when you said you were a singer. Like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a singer. That meant something.
Yeah, true.
Like, oh, you're a singer? Hold on. Like, because they're comparing you to like, you know what I mean? Like all those like crooners and stuff. Yeah, yeah. And now it's just like, I'm a singer. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I've like made a living doing it, you know? My point is this, like, there's just so much. There's so much just like, it's so easy to put stuff out that people are far less likely to put so much effort and so much work into it. That
so
to me,
it's
it's not
easier to find that.
It feels like it's not like, I talk to so many bands who are like, what would your advice be to a young band or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, how much are y'all practicing? They're like, every other Thursday. And I'm like, okay, every other Thursday's nowhere near enough. Like in Norma Jean, we practice every single day because we just couldn't do anything. What else would we do? Yeah. Well, of course we're going to jam, we're going to practice, we're going to write stuff, and as soon as we write something better, we delete the other stuff, and you know what I mean? Like it's just, what else are we going to do? This is all I want to do, and we just do it all the time, every single day, and like the days we couldn't practice, we'd be bummed out, you know? And people talking about like they practice like once every other Thursday, and I'm like, well, that's why there's just so much, like the threshold of like mid is just, it's so, it doesn't take too much, I don't think, to sort of stick your head above that a little bit, you know?
So Cheese, when Josh is talking about putting stuff on tape, he means like there's reel-to-reel machines.
Listen to me. Our very first recording was to DAT tape in 1999.
Nice.
So I am aware of it.
All right.
While you were fucking 35 and driving your car to Tijuana for a donkey show, I was 12 and recording to DAT tape.
All right. My first studio experience was to tape.
Same.
And then the dude was like, I'll do a free song. Like, I'll give you free studio time to do a song if you'll let me try out this new thing that I just got called Pro Tools.
Nice.
And it had just come out. And
yeah.
So, yeah. Why do you guys face each other on stage? I like it, but why?
I'm glad I have your approval.
I hate it. It's so dumb. Face me.
We'll
I'm
change
the
it
important
immediately.
one.
We'll change it immediately.
I'm getting the one standing in the back like this. Look at me, damn it.
Well, again, twofold. Everything has two reasons, but at least. So we wing a lot of stuff. We make a lot of stuff up, and so there was I think technically, I don't claim this, but technically I think there was one show that we set up semi-normal, and I'm just looking the whole time at the drummer because to know when he hits and all this stuff, and I was like, this sucks, let's set up so that I don't have to keep looking. And so that's why we did it originally, so I don't have to keep looking over my shoulder or whatever. But then also I like the putting the audience off just a bit. You know what I mean? There's a front man is supposed to be engaging, spoon feed. And I'm definitely not that guy. I'm not, I don't have any interest in being like that guy. So me just not even facing them sometimes means that it focuses me back on what I'm here for. I'm here to try my best to make a great piece of art that deals with music, and it's not about getting claps necessarily. It's not about that hopefully will come because of the art that we're producing, but it's not about that. It's about how are we gonna make the most of today and tonight and this show and whatever. And then when I do turn to face the crowd, now there's a reason, now there's a moment, now there's a thing, versus just starting that way and being that way and never not having that. It started off again very practical, and then just has become part of the ethos a bit.
That's interesting because it's there is so much of art that you are supposed to just witness. Right, and it's it shouldn't necessarily be different with a musical performance, but the people feel this obligation that they should have some sort of interaction with it, which is not necessarily true. So
right.
I like that it provides a barrier in a way, but it's not a fuck you kind of barrier. It's just witness this.
Yeah. Well, it's so I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer that whoever's on stage, they should be in control. It's their art, right? It's their thing. Yeah. And so for me, I've said this too. I'm guilty of this too. But you get off stage, you're like, oh man, that crowd, sucked or whatever. Like, that's a tough crowd, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I always am quick to go, hey, why? Like, you're the artist, you're the guy, like you're the person doing the thing. Why? Like, you should control the vibe. Like, you are the one who is supposed to set the standard, set the thing, and then hopefully that'll trickle out. Now, I know there are definitely some hard crowds and there's definitely some things that are different, but my point is, you're putting the cart before the horse if the audience is controlling the vibe of the show. Like, you should control it. You should take, or at least do your best and try to do it. And then therefore, I think the end result of that is people seeing that, like, oh, nothing else matters. Like, I'm having a great time. I'm having a blast. Mm. We're creating art that I believe in, that I feel great with. And I think typically, the hope is anyway, that trickles into the audience, and then we can all together experience this thing, because again, we are making it up, and we are, we fall into certain routines, like, oh man, that worked, and it keeps working and stuff. But then sometime, like halfway through a tour or something, like, we just go, okay, we're getting too complacent, we're getting too comfortable, let's flip up, let's start with a completely different song, whatever. But we never work off set lists. We never we usually just kind of have an idea, like, oh, we'll probably start with this on this tour, and then we usually end with the same song, but everything else in between can do whatever. And we've definitely ended with different songs too. But my point is that when you can separate this idea that, yeah, the customer's not always right. I don't know how else to word it. Like, the customer's rarely right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the idea that like that the crowd dictates what happens, or that the crowd says like, oh, the singer must look at me and engage me the whole time and spoon feed me and be a front man, and it's like, I'm gonna do my thing up here, and I hope that you enjoy it. I hope you like it. I hope that it trickles out, and together I think we can all have an experience tonight instead of it being us versus you know. But I think we have to lead the charge, you know. Otherwise, you're putting the cart before the horse, and that would be a silly drawing.
I've long thought that the way that bands are set up on stage should be reoriented, where the drummer should be at the front with his back to the audience, because nobody sees the drummer anyway. And then the rest of the band is behind but facing the drummer, because that's how everybody practices.
That is how you practice,
right?
Yeah.
Everybody practices circled around the drummer, facing the drummer. So just do that. But nobody cares. Nobody sees the drummer anyway. Just stick him at the front with his back to everybody.
That's funny.
And then maybe instead of having the bass drum with a fucking graphic on it, the guy can just wear one of your T-shirts.
T-shirt.
With a big fucking...
Yeah,
that's it. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Better yet, set up however you want to set up, and then in front just put a big old scrim so you can't even see the band.
Yeah.
Just a big old scrim, and then you assume they're back there playing.
It sounds it sounds kind of live.
I think I could see down a little bit. I think they're playing.
He's fucking playing dice behind the scrim, playing the record on CD.
Yeah, you got a tea party going on back there. Yeah.
Are you and Nico brother and sister, or husband and wife?
Sisters.
You don't ever answer that question clearly in the media, and is that because you're trying to remain mysterious, or what?
First of all, what media?
All the media.
MTV?
Yeah,
Did MTV do a bit?
Rolling
what do y'all
Stone
got?
magazine.
What's Canada? Much Music or something?
Much Music Canada.
Yeah.
It pretty much just plays
They
the
are
Fresh
all.
Prince now.
Everybody wants to know.
Yeah. Kurt Loder asked us the same question, and
Kurt Loder, that stung.
he asked the same question for MTV News.
Yep.
You know, and I told him the same thing. We're sisters. So
Okay, perfect. I brought it up because I was watching you guys in Detroit, a city famous for the White Stripes, another guitar, drum, two-piece band, and went, Detroit should love the fuck out of these guys.
Us or the White Stripes?
Huh? You guys.
They should like us? Oh, cool.
Yeah, they should like you guys.
I agree with that.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. They should. Detroit should like us.
Yeah, I agree.
Our first real show ever. So we did our first show was in South by Southwest, and then we did another festival, South by So What, which is like right after that. And then our first real shows was in Michigan, and I don't know if it was literally Detroit, but one of the first 3 shows was Detroit. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Detroit's a great,
I like them.
great city for music.
Didn't Meg White just come out as a white supremacist?
Did she?
I don't know.
Is that just because of her last name?
Yeah.
Meg White is short for Meg White supremacist.
It's white striped supremacist, but she just
Yeah. I haven't heard anything from her one way or another in ages.
No,
so
me
I don't know.
neither. I was asking.
Yeah.
I have a game for us to play.
Okay.
So this game, you were famously the singer of Norma Jean. Norma Jean. Norma Jean,
Of all the struggles
do it.
that have happened with bands that I've been in, like The Chariot and Chariot, and I've never heard this
Nora
struggle. Nora and Norma.
20 years in the making. Norma Jean has no original members in the band.
True.
So here's some questions about other bands that have no original members.
Okay.
Okay, so this famous, and it's multiple choice. So this
Is this
famous
the game?
metal band.
Yeah, there's a game.
This sounds like a test.
It is. It's a quiz.
It's like, what's that fucking thing where you fill in the things and they put it in the Scantron?
Scantron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Standardized.
Am I voting
testing,
right now?
baby.
What is happening?
They called that a Scantron? Like what? Like that feels like something they would have put on Futurama.
Right. Yeah.
That is a lazy fucking title for a thing.
And yet awesome,
Yeah.
because you're like, a Scantron? That has to be fun. Nope.
Like that's so like
You just Christmas tree your way down.
C.
Yeah.
This famous metal band has no original members. Is it A, Pantera, B, Megadeth, C, Slayer, or D, Sepultura?
Man, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm going to go with Sepultura, but
That's
I
correct.
think it's Sepultura
Okay,
as
yeah.
well. Is Max
Sepultura.
Caravello? Is that how you say his name? He's no longer in Sepultura,
No.
or he's not an original member.
Cavalera, I believe.
Yeah,
But,
Max and his brother, the two brothers. This 70s prog powerhouse has no original members. Is it Yes? Is it King Crimson? Is it Genesis or Vandergraaf Generator?
Fucking what?
I don't. Did you just make that up?
Nope.
That's one of those bands that, like, when you're at a party and you're just trying to call a guy out, like, I think he's just saying yes to whatever I say. You just be like, yo, have you ever heard of Scantron? And you're like, dude, that band rules, man.
Yeah, dude.
That band's so sick. And you're like, yeah, I'm leaving right now. I don't know that last band, so I'm just going to go with them because I don't.
It's Yes. The band Yes has.
They don't have any original dudes?
Yeah.
Or members?
original dudes.
What's the yes?
I wouldn't know the original. Yeah,
You know the song Roundabout.
I know
It's got
yes,
that-
but I don't
that
know like
killer bass
members.
line.
Yeah,
Sing.
I don't know like band members of.
I can't even do it. It's too fast. I can't even do it with my mouth.
I
I
think
can't
I
do
got
it with
from,
my mouth hole.
I think I got it from that.
You did?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This 2000s pop punk act has no original members. Blink 182,
Couldn't be.
Avril Lavigne,
Could
Pop
be.
punk.
Paramore, or Yellowcard.
It's not Paramore. I don't know Yellowcard.
Does
like
Avril
that.
Lavigne count in her own
Yeah,
band?
wouldn't she be original since she is she?
Unless you
I'm gonna go with
believe
Yellowcard because I don't know the members.
That's got to
like
be that same Ryan fella that sings the whole time.
Yeah, but just because it's. Oh wait, yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, I mean it can't be Avril Lavigne. Okay, I know it's not Avril Lavigne, or at least unless you're weird being
Unless he's
some
not
tricky
including
thing.
Avril Lavigne, or unless he's believing the conspiracy that Avril Lavigne died of Lyme disease in like 2006 and was replaced.
Rubber Paul type scenario.
Yeah.
Like
It's-
Beatles?
The answer is B. It's Avril Lavigne.
What do you mean?
Avril Lavigne died and was replaced by a doppelganger.
Final
That also
question.
happened
Legit
with
conspiracy, dude.
that also happened with the Beatles and
Yeah.
Paul.
And Andrew
Paul
WK.
Rubber
He's dead.
Andrew WK has that rumor
I'll
too.
tell you what. I believe that rumor about Andrew WK. We played a show with him. He came up on stage and he sang fucking I Love New York City with us. It was the greatest moment of my life. Afterwards, I went back and like shook his hand and like hung out with him for a minute. The guy that I met was super nice, but he is not that man from the videos. Like it was not the same guy, dude.
Okay, so I, just going forward, I'm skeptical now because I feel like you've thrown me like a loophole here. This wasn't just a standardized like
Yeah, sometimes Fritzy's
Scantron
games
type.
have fucking lies.
Okay, yeah.
This gimmick band has no original members. Is it the Wiggles, Kiss, Gwar, or Slipknot?
I'll tell you what, I know for a fact Anthony Wiggle is an original and he's still in the band.
Okay. I don't know how far deep you're going with Slipknot, but if you're going real back with Slipknot, they could be it. What was the middle two?
Gwar and Kiss.
Okay, Gwar, I don't know, but we toured with them. It was like a festival tour, but I got to know them, and they were a lot of new, younger folks.
And
I'll go with-
has
I'll
unfortunately
go with-
passed away.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Guar.
It is indeed Guar.
Yeah.
It was like the twist in there was throwing Slipknot in as a gimmick band.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I should have stopped you right then and there and left the interview. Sorry, Corey, I didn't stand up for you whatsoever, even a little bit. Well, because I think, I think, you know, if you go real far back, like Corey Taylor's not original. Like he joined Slipknot.
Yeah, I think
so I didn't know how far deep you're going.
I think there's one dude. I can't remember his name. But there's the one dude pre-Corey Taylor that's still in it.
Is he the clown that has the baseball bat?
No.
I don't think he's the clown.
I got to tell you, I one time
also, the Wiggles, Anthony Wiggle is the last original Wiggle.
I know a lot about the Wiggles. Even the second generation of them are gone for the most part, like Lachlan and Emma.
Yeah.
But I went to see Slipknot one time because fucking Killswitch and Unearth were playing with them, and it was like back in the like heyday of metalcore where I was like, fucking The Oncoming Storm had just come out, and I was like, this is the sickest thing. But I was also like, I don't give a fuck about Slipknot. And I went to that concert, and Tim was like, can we just watch one song from Slipknot? And I was like, okay. It was the greatest show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was absolutely bonkers.
Slipknot is... I'm a person who is typically... like a band name will really turn me off to a band, or like a thing that they do will turn me off. And
you judge a book by its cover,
right? Yeah, 100%. Like Billy Talent. Like I have never heard a Billy Talent song, but I really don't like Billy Talent just because I don't like their name.
As far as like radio rock goes, they're fucking excellent.
I'm sure they are.
I think,
and
great.
A lot of my friends are fans, and I.
But
I've
like,
never
no.
listened to them, and I will forever die on this hill that I will never listen to them just because of that name. Because it just makes me assume there's a guy in the band named Billy Talent, but that's like he gave himself the name Billy Talent. Like, I'm talented, I'm Billy Talent, and that ruined it for me. But like Slipknot, honestly, is really, really fucking good.
So wait, you're saying that because Slipknot, the name originally turned you off?
No, it's the masks thing. It's the
I was so jealous of that when I saw them do that. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever, because I was like, imagine if you could get huge and not mess with your private life. Like, imagine being in a band and being just giants but also be able to walk around and never have any. I mean, I'm the least. You know, but that idea is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, that's super cool. I want to tell a story because it has to do with being on tour with Protest Hero, and then what you just said about judging a book by its cover. So we have in-ears, and and we wear suits on stage, for anyone who doesn't know. And when we were like about to go out on stage, I could hear a guy because of some of our audience mics. And this guy goes, we walked out on stage in our suits, and me and Nico, and I could hear a guy very clearly, very specifically go, you want to know how to get me to totally dislike your band? Come out in matching suits. And I looked over at Nico, hoping he heard it, and either he didn't hear it or whatever, but I was like, oh man. So the whole night was great, because I was like, well, I'm about to win this guy over. Like, my whole goal, my whole thoughts were like, I'm about to just like try my best to win this guy over, and I think we did at the end. I couldn't tell who said it the way the mics are, but I was like, but I have a hunch based on judging books by their covers. I had a hunch at who might have said it, he definitely ended up liking our band if it was that guy. So
my thing with bands that play in suits is like, that's gotta get so fucking hot.
Sure.
I don't know how people do it night after, like.
It gets very stinky in my experience. My experience is from touring with Josh.
Headlining bands love us. They love when we stink up the green room.
Fucking like a week later, Sandra was still talking about in fucking Cleveland, it was Cleveland, when she came into the back room and your suit was on the fan. And the fan was just blowing the stink around the room.
The green room's about this big already, and so I was like, oh, it was wet. It was still wet from the night before, so I was like, oh, I'll just air it like that. And then people came in, I was like, oh no, it's just been like marinating in here. Yeah. So the suits from time to time can be fairly hot for sure. A summer tour can get a little brutal sometimes, but what you're like totally bypassing is during winter tours when it's like great to have this like extra suit type thing. That's when it's wonderful because it's a bit warmer than just a short sleeve shirt or whatever. But I like the suit. We did it as a joke in the beginning. We came out looking well. We did the AP awards or whatever they were called. Yeah. We hosted we presented a thing, and I was like, yo, we should go out as the Blues Brothers. And so then we were on Warped Tour, and so we did the AP awards, and then the next show was Chicago. And I was like, well, we got to do the Blues Brothers there. Yeah. And so we did that, and then it was just like, man, I like this suit. I like the idea of putting on something something that changes me from pedestrian to guy about to perform kind of thing. I like that a lot. So cool. Yeah.
Now, you ever think about in the summertime wearing a linen suit, like a nice like beige linen?
Oh,
suit.
Linen.
Yeah. So it's like just like not as hot, breathes a little.
I thought about this is something I invented. It's a suit but shorts.
Yep.
Oh. Instead of pants, yeah.
Now you would look like fucking the guy from AC/DC.
No, I know that's the joke. That's the
bit. But what if you did like suit jacket but with short sleeves?
Like
suit pants with short sleeves, leg sleeves. Oh, that's what they're called. The leg sleeves of pants.
Leg sleeves.
The leg sleeves.
The pant would be short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could look like Dwight Schrute with his short sleeve, short sleeve shirts. Yep. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind being hot on stage, like even if it's like excruciating, because I can just take it off first song. It doesn't matter. But I'll tell you what I hate: being freezing cold. Being freezing cold and trying to go out and like it's the worst. It's the absolute worst. Especially playing guitar. Yeah, your riffing hand gets all cold and it's no good. And I like being hot and sweaty. I'm fully okay with that more so than being cold. So the suits never bother me. But
when we, I was in a band in college, and we played a lot of local shows, whatever, and it was the middle of winter. We were in Detroit, and at these local venues, like, you don't load in early and sound check and whatever. You basically load in, play your set, get your stuff out of the venue, and the next band's hauling their shit in from the van parked out in the alley, right? And the stage door, it had to be like 20 degrees outside, and the stage door, we loaded, and my hands were like blocks of ice. I couldn't play.
Yeah,
it just was fucked. So
that's
I get
the worst. Yeah, that's the worst.
But I'd rather be cold than hot.
No, you wouldn't.
Always.
I don't think I'd rather be either extreme.
You just want to be comfortable.
Yeah, I want to be in my house in air conditioning.
Yeah. I would rather just be chill. But man, I'm a Southern boy, and I've done a lot of touring, and I've been in like Russia in the dead of winter with like a jean jacket, because as a Southern boy, that's all I own.
Dude, nothing holds the chill like fucking denim, dude.
Just that button touching you, like, dude. I'm not even like the amount of times that I have just been like, I'm so cold and there is no escape. Like, I will not be cold for at least the next 3 weeks. Like, I'm just going to be freezing for the next 3 weeks because I couldn't afford to just go purchase a big old thick jacket, you know? Yeah. Nowadays I probably could if I needed to. I could probably go purchase something, but I've never been so hot. I mean, if I'm so hot, like, I don't know, take my shirt off, and it's just like whatever. I've just never been so hot that I mean, Warped Tour in Vegas, that was pretty brutal, to say the least. But
like midday fucking shit on Warped Tour, yeah.
Vegas, man, they had a laser thermometer thing, and because it was all on the asphalt. It was at the parking lot, and so we were in Vegas in summertime on Warped Tour, and I want to say the thermometer registered at like 117 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is Celsius, but it's not healthy.
Sick,
it's like 26. It's like 26 Celsius or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
26.
Everybody was like,
"Isn't crazy." It was 26 today. It's mid-September.
Nobody knows what Celsius is.
I bet he does.
Yeah, I do. I bet it was probably
he does,
like
and people
fucking
listening
45
probably do.
degrees Celsius.
Either way, do the math. It's hot. It's really hot.
I'm gonna do the math.
Do the math.
Right now is the time in the show where we give each other gifts.
It's 47 degrees Celsius. Holy fuck.
There you go. You see what I'm saying?
I've never experienced like hot like that, I don't think, in this world. Like in fucking Hong Kong, I was at a beach and it said 45 and it was like fucked up out.
Yeah. So imagine playing a show now and people moshing and things.
Golly.
It was no bueno.
That's a nope. Now, I'm gonna. I need to preface my gift by saying the last 3 episodes of this podcast, the recordings coming from my computer have introduced a 4-second drop of frames every 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
What?
So I've been having to adjust for that as I edit each episode. And this past episode, I decided to fill those 4-second gaps with little video clips of me holding up a whiteboard with some little weird saying on it. And one of the things I wrote was, my greatest fear is dying alone, but also bees with teeth. So I decided to draw those bees with teeth and send them to Cheese.
Let's see. Yeah, there they are. Now, these are not sharp teeth.
No, it's not about sharp teeth.
He didn't say sharp teeth, to be fair. He said bees with teeth. Cheese, can you text that to me so I can get because I got to judge this, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're not worried about these bees fucking biting you. You're worried about them smiling at you?
I'm more concerned about them all giving me the middle finger at once, but...
that's what you're scared of?
You know.
Hold on. Dying alone and bees with middle fingers? That's they were
You're scared
equal
of
to
these bees offending you?
All right, let me see.
Yeah.
This is nice. What'd you draw this on?
Oh, those are you didn't hand draw that.
Yeah.
No, that's like CGI or something.
The background is just like a
stock
picnic stock image, but all the bees I drew.
You drew the
like
bee
on a
once,
computer.
And then you copy and pasted it.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta set the scene.
Okay.
I like it.
That's great.
I've got it up so that I can.
All right. So now Cheese.
Fresh.
I'm going to send this to Josh as well. But what I've done is I have drawn Fritzy as an octopus with penises instead of tentacles, and I've named him the Coctopussy. And I think that's pretty cute.
That's great. Are you gonna? Did you show the screen? Or is it up here? Man, that is pretty good.
Isn't that nice?
Hold on, how are y'all just have these talents? Y'all are just able to just draw these things?
We've gotten good giving each other gifts. The early ones were bad, dude, but we're getting pretty good.
Man, I thought judging was going to be real easy, if I'm being honest. I was like, oh, this will be easy, one will be great, and one will be dumb.
Yeah, so at a certain point, we started getting tattoos of each other as gifts for each other.
Yeah.
I've made up my mind.
Okay.
It was actually easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's the Coctopus.
Yeah, but here's why. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you were sending him your fear, which doesn't sound like a very good, friendly gift thing to do.
Yeah.
Hey, here's something I'm terrified of. Maybe you can also be terrified
Yes.
along with me. middle finger bees with teeth that aren't sharp. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's, you know, so that doesn't feel like the very, like, the best friendly thing. And then meanwhile, he's got you looking great with a stash. You know, very very healthy length on all the scenarios happening. So, you know what I mean? Like, what a pal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
that's what you think of me. That's flattered.
Yeah, that's surely not true to form, but what a bud. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to say Cheese wins the gift.
Here's the other thing that's a little you know, like big brain.
He did give you liver spots, though. I did give him liver spots.
I am
How old do you think he is? Mr. Burns over here.
I think because it's cocktopus, I took out the octo, which allowed me to only draw 6 legs.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I didn't have to do 8.
Yeah.
Because it's about the cocks, not the ox.
Is that the new album title?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're going to announce the winner of our T-shirt giveaway.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to read the answers for the 3 entries that were our top 3 before, and we'll announce the winner. The rules of this were you had to go in and post why somebody else deserved the T-shirt more than you, and the person who deserved it the least gets the T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I would say Cheese deserves it the most because of this, and someone would say I deserve it the most because of this, and this guy would say, and the least of those.
Yeah, basically
is the winner. Okay.
Yeah, basically. So the third place finisher was I went barefoot at Fritzy's Fortress of Frigitude, and all I got was this dumb meat shit and go fuck yourself T-shirt. That's the name of the user who submitted it. And it says, Jerry. I don't even wear the PTH shirts I already own. Not only that, I 100% would cut the sleeves off that bitch, and as soon as it showed up, and would disrespect it by wearing it exclusively for yard work in the gym. Give that shit to someone who'd treat it right. It's pretty good.
I think that's great.
Pretty good.
Second place, Julia writes, I think Steve probably deserves it more than me. I'll probably cut it into a crop top. That being said, I'm a newer fan and barely know any of the lyrics yet. And our winner, T-shirt winner, is Foolish Bale. Wins the T-shirt, says, I'm a terrible person and I stink so bad. Committed many crimes, but my cats deserve to have a new T-shirt to sleep on and get all their tiny little hairs stuck all over it. So that's our winner. Second and third place don't get shit.
Yeah, they don't get anything.
You should have done better if you really wanted a prize. So Foolish Bale will be reaching out to you to get you ordered up a Podcast the Hero T-shirt. And that's it.
I like that he put that he stinks really bad.
Yeah.
That is honestly
that's the best part. I stink so bad.
That's solvable.
That's why they want. Because they
most scenarios, that's a fixable situation.
Yep.
Nice.
At this point in the show, we typically ask our guests to tell the audience to eat shit and go fuck themselves. Now, in this case, we're happy to let you put your own spin on it.
Amazing.
We won't force you to say the terrible thing that we ask everybody to say.
My mom watches these. You know
exactly.
Kathy, she's going to be watching this.
Like, not even just because you're on it, because she's like a steady listener.
A huge fan of
Doesn't care about me. Does not care about me.
She never misses an episode.
Yeah. She's like, she had to figure out who's what. Yeah, she doesn't care about me. She's here for the content.
Yeah.
Wait, so I just got to say something mean?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
To the listeners.
It's basically it. To the listeners.
So I just say it and then we like hang up, or do I say it and then it's like
we can hang out after, but I'll cut it after.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I think moving forward you should let the person just say their own mean thing, because now it's it's not scripted. I've got to like figure something out
off the top of your dome.
Like it's coming from my heart, not just like something Rhodey told me to say. So
it's true.
So everyone watching, live mediocre as can be, and try to achieve absolute averageness the best you can.
That's so mean, dude.
That's so mean. I love it. You can also take a picture from your...
Is he she?